Have you ever felt lost? Completely unqualified for the task ahead? Like you're staring at an impossible mountain you're supposed to climb? Well, let me tell you a story about a man who probably felt that way every single day. A man who started as a baby in a basket, floating down a river and ended up as one of the most legendary leaders in history. This is the story of Moses. Our story begins in ancient Egypt, a place of towering pyramids and immense power. But for the Hebrew people, it was a land of slavery. The Pharaoh, fearing their growing numbers, gave a horrific order. Every newborn Hebrew boy was to be thrown into the Nile River. It was a time of unimaginable terror and grief. But one mother, Jochebed, refused to let fear win. She hid her baby boy for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she didn't surrender him to the river's currents. Instead, she crafted a small basket, a tiny ark out of reeds and tar. She placed her precious son inside and set him afloat among the reeds, praying for a miracle. And a miracle is exactly what she got. The baby's older sister, Miriam, watched from a distance as the basket drifted. And who should find it? None other than Pharaoh's own daughter, the princess. She saw the baby, her heart filled with compassion, and she decided to adopt him. She named him Moses, which means to draw out, because she had drawn him out of the water. So Moses, a Hebrew slave by birth, was raised as an Egyptian prince. He lived in the lap of luxury, educated in all the wisdom of Egypt. He had everything a man could want. But he had a secret. He knew who he was. He saw the suffering of his own people, the Hebrews, toiling under the whips of the slave masters. His heart ached for them. One day he saw an Egyptian mercilessly beating a Hebrew slave. In a flash of rage, Moses intervened. He killed the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. He thought no one had seen. But the next day he discovered his secret was out. Fearing for his life, Moses fled Egypt. He ran far away into the desert of Midian. The prince became a shepherd. For 40 years he lived a quiet, simple life. He married a woman named Zipporah and had a family. The palace, the power, the pain of his past, it probably all felt like a distant dream. He was an exile, a forgotten man, tending sheep on the backside of a desert. He was, for all intents and purposes, a nobody. And that's when God showed up. One day on a mountain called Horeb, Moses saw something impossible, a bush that was on fire but wasn't burning up. As he got closer, a voice boomed from the flames. "Moses! Moses!" It was God. God told Moses that he had seen the suffering of the Hebrews in Egypt and he was going to deliver them. And then came the shocker. God said, "So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." Moses was terrified. "Who am I to do this?" he asked. "I'm a shepherd. I'm a fugitive. I'm not a good speaker," I stutter. He made every excuse he could think of. He was a broken man, full of self-doubt. But God's answer was simple and powerful. "I will be with you." So, this reluctant hero, armed with nothing but a shepherd's staff and a promise from God, returned to the land he had fled. He stood before the most powerful man on earth, the Pharaoh, and delivered a simple message: "Let my people go." What followed was an epic showdown. Pharaoh's heart was hard. He refused. And so began the 10 plagues. Water turning to blood, frogs, gnats, flies, livestock dying, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and finally, the most terrible plague of all. Yet through it all, Moses stood firm, a conduit for a power far greater than his own. This story isn't just about miracles and plagues. It's about a man who was taken from the lowest of lows, raised to the highest of highs, brought back down to nothing, and then chosen to do the impossible. It's a powerful reminder that it doesn't matter where you start, what mistakes you've made, or how unqualified you feel. When a purpose greater than yourself calls, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Help us spread the word. Thank you for your support.